Welcome to another dark tale on the Midnight Narrator. Tonight, we have a story that will make you question everything you thought you knew about grief and the unseen forces that might linger after loss. The rustling at the stairs is a chilling reminder that some things are never truly gone, and some dangers never stop hunting. Stay close and keep the lights on. This is a story you won't forget. My younger sibling, Aster, was always a devoted writer. They had numerous notebooks, bound in various colors and textures, each filled with their distinctive script and pressed botanical specimens. They were fiercely protective of these notebooks, warning me of dire consequences if I dared to even touch them. But Aster is gone now. It's been 5 months. They were 13. A terrible accident in the woods. They were hiking alone, a sudden rock slide. No one could have prevented it. The memorial service was a blur of grief, and afterward, I couldn't bring myself to enter their room. It remained untouched, a frozen moment in time. Until last week when my remaining parent asked me to begin organizing their belongings. I found their most recent notebook tucked beneath a stack of art supplies. It was not locked. My fingers trembled as I opened the notebook. The scent of dried wildflowers and old paper wafted up, a faint echo of Aster's presence. I traced the delicate script with my fingertip, hoping to find some solace, some connection to the sibling I had lost. But as I began to read, a knot of dread tightened in my stomach. The initial entries were typical. We had stew for supper. I managed to get the last of the dumplings before Finn could eat them all. He grumbled, but I didn't mind. A faint smile touched my lips. Aster always enjoyed playful rivalries. The following pages were filled with mundane details, concerns about school projects, sketches of fantastical creatures, lists of favorite poems. But then, about 2/3 of the way through, a disquieting shift occurred. I keep seeing the shadow. It's at the edge of the field near the old oak. I told my guardian, but they said it's just my imagination. But it's there. I can feel its presence. The shadow? I paused, leafing back through the earlier entries. There was no previous mention of it. Perhaps it was simply Aster's creative mind at work. They had always possessed a vivid imagination, easily captivated by stories of mythical beings. I continued reading. The shadow has moved closer. It lingers near the garden at dusk. It doesn't make a sound, just watches. Its form is indistinct. I feel a sense of dread, a coldness that seeps into my bones. A coldness spread through me. Aster's handwriting became erratic, the words infused with growing anxiety. It's inside the house now. It moves through the hallways at night while I'm in my room. I hear its soft footsteps like dry leaves skittering across the floor. It whispers a sound I cannot make out. A low, guttural murmur that seems to vibrate in the air itself. A sound? I turned to the final pages, my pulse quickening. Rhea doesn't perceive it. No one does. It told me not to speak of it. It said no one would understand. It claims I belong to it. I stopped reading, my hands trembling. This had to be a work of fiction, a story Aster had been writing. But the way it was described, the palpable fear within the words, it felt disturbingly real. Too real. That night, the notebook consumed my thoughts. I couldn't escape the image of Aster, alone in their room, gripped by terror while some unseen entity lurked nearby. Sleep offered little respite. I dreamt of Aster. They stood at the edge of the field, the gnarled branches of the old oak reaching out like skeletal fingers behind them. Their eyes were vacant, reflecting the pale moonlight like pools of frozen water. Their lips moved, forming words I couldn't hear, but I felt a chilling certainty that they were warning me, their silent scream echoing in the emptiness of the dream. I awoke with a start, my heart pounding against my ribs, and there were small twigs and damp leaves tangled in my hair, clinging to my clothes. The scent of damp earth clung to me. I told myself it was nothing. Perhaps I'd walked outside during the night and hadn't remembered. But the following day, I discovered a loose page from Aster's notebook on the living room table. I hadn't removed the notebook from their room. The page contained an entry I hadn't previously read. It says Finn will be next. It says Finn will join me soon. Dread settled over me, heavy and suffocating. That night I secured the doors and windows, checking the locks twice. I tried to dismiss my fears as the product of grief and exhaustion, but as I lay in bed listening to the silence of the house, I heard it. A rustling. Rustle. Rustle. At the base of the stairs. I didn't want to investigate. I was paralyzed by fear, but a powerful, morbid curiosity compelled me to rise. It was there. A dark shape coalesced at the foot of the staircase, a shifting mass of shadows that seemed to absorb the dim light. It writhed and pulsed, like something struggling to break free from an invisible constraint. I could almost make out a vaguely humanoid form within the darkness, but it was constantly changing, dissolving and reforming, as if it were made of smoke and whispers. A low, guttural growl emanated from it, a sound that seemed to vibrate the very air around me. I froze, unable to move or speak, my breath catching in my throat. When I awoke, it was morning. Everything appeared normal. I almost convinced myself it had been a nightmare until I found another page from Aster's notebook on the kitchen counter. It says the time is near. It says Finn is it's now. I haven't slept properly since. I rarely leave the house. I keep hearing rustling sounds, faint whispers just beyond my hearing. Last night I found traces of soil and moss and a single small white feather on the floor near my bedroom door. I think I understand now. Aster didn't simply fall. It didn't happen by chance. It took them. And now, it's coming for me. And that brings us to the end, a story that spirals from sorrow into something far darker, where a sibling's death is not an accident but the beginning of something far more sinister. Do you think Aster's presence lingers? And what about the warnings? If you've been captivated by tonight's haunting narrative, subscribe and turn on notifications for more. Remember, the shadows are always closer than you think. End of tonight's tale, the rustling at the stairs. Until next time, this is the Midnight Narrator. Keep your curiosity alive, but beware of what might follow you home.